We've got a pretty good idea which movies will break the bank at the box office in 2017, but there's more to the year in movies than picking blockbusters and super franchises. We've gone over the release schedule, taken a look at the prevailing trends, and come up with some theories about what's happening at the Cineplex over the next 12 months and beyond. Rey's DNA. There are some bets that seem safer than others when it comes to Star Wars Episode 8. While it's almost a guarantee that there'll be at least one of these lines thrown into the script,
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's less clear which, if any, more throwback character cameos will come into the mix, or if any of those parentage issues left lingering around the new kids on the Galactic block will finally be revealed. With that in mind, we're predicting Star Wars fans will learn more about Rey's lineage. We expect to see her training with Luke, who seems at least somewhat likely to be her father. And don't forget, Luke found out who his dad was in the second installment of the original trilogy, so that would be good timing. Logan 2.0. Sorry, Wolverine fanatics, but we're predicting Logan, at least as portrayed by Hugh Jackman, is not long for this world. Not only has his healing ability been compromised by the hand of time in Logan, but the movie's trailer also seems to suggest the story will serve as a full-length introduction for his replacement. Marvel Comics' Laura Kinney, aka X-23, is Logan's clone daughter in the comics, and she ultimately assumes his mantle after his death. Logan seems to be on a suicide mission to protect her in the trailer, and she's so cute with those sunglasses after all, so we wouldn't be surprised to see him make the ultimate sacrifice while X-23 comes into play for the New Mutants, especially since that's exactly what happened in the comics. Stephen King is king. Of all modern American authors, perhaps none has had quite as much of an impact on Hollywood as Stephen King. His stories have spawned dozens of movie adaptations, some of which he's liked enough to make cameos in. His library has also spawned several TV shows and miniseries, but until now, some of his most high-concept stories have remained firmly shelved. That changes with Dark Tower, which many King fans consider the backbone of the author's extended story universe. If its big screen adaptation does well enough upon arrival later this year, there's definitely room for growth in the series. So prepare for a full-on franchise if the box office take is right. And if the upcoming adaptation of King's It lands too, you can really get ready to see filmmakers dive into the King archives for even more bestsellers that could be turned into potential franchises. Sequel setbacks. Go ahead and free up your calendar space on June 9th now, because there's just no way World War Z 2 is going to be in theaters that day as scheduled. Even several months out, the film still hadn't even secured a director, and it's not the only delay that's virtually inevitable this year. James Cameron's Avatar 2 release date for 2018 will probably get another nudge back into 2019, if not further, given the lack of progress on the production front so far. Well, that and the fact that Cameron wants to make his 4 Avatar sequels all at once. Meanwhile, don't be surprised if the Jumanji reboot/sequel gets kicked back again too, because it's notoriously had trouble finding footing, and it wouldn't necessarily be shocking if Andy Serkis' Jungle Book Origins ends up delayed or even scrapped altogether in the wake of Disney's critical and commercial success with its own live-action Jungle Book.
Relax, kid. No need to get worked up, okay?
Galactic expansion. If we've learned anything from the Disney's Pixar and Marvel mergers, it's that when Disney gets its white-gloved paws into something lucrative, the studio's going to take full and eager advantage.
1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4!
That's already the case with Disney Lucasfilm, which will undoubtedly start rolling out more Star Wars sequels, prequels, and standalone stories now that Rogue One has confirmed that the franchise is viable even outside of the Luke, Leia, Han Solo story axis. With the Han Solo prequel on deck for 2018 and Episode 9 scheduled to follow along in the summer of 2019, we can probably count on the Star Wars franchise to start looking more like the MCU, with 2-a-year announcements trickling in for the release schedule. How that impacts the brand's quality, of course, remains to be seen. Fingers crossed. Go Gamora. Since the superhero world seems ever geared towards expanding its franchise horizons, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, and Captain Marvel are all preparing for time in the spotlight, but there's another character who might be due for some solo screen time: Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. Once Volume 2 drops in May, its inevitably impressive receipts will probably justify giving some member of the team his or her own day in the sun, MCU style. One could easily argue that Gamora is the ideal candidate for the job, considering her meaty family story with Thanos and Nebula, her radness outside of being the object of Star-Lord's affection, not to mention the fact that she's currently starring in her own solo comics title. Gamora will no doubt prove to be key in the Avengers fight with Thanos, and if she were to get a standalone story, it'd mean she could introduce the badass all-girl warrior group, the Graces. Her credentials are there, and Zoe Saldana has a proven record at the box office. Musicals are in again. For all its faults, 2016 did help to usher in a new generation of movie musicals. After successful broadcasts for Grease Live and Hairspray Live drummed up impressive ratings on the small screen, La La Land reminded everyone that there's still a place for this type of good old-fashioned entertainment in theaters. The passing of Singing in the Rain star Debbie Reynolds may spark a revival of interest in classic sing-along cinema, or even inspire a studio or two to take a stab at a remake. And Mary Poppins Returns with Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda should be a good boost thanks to the La La Land appreciation craze. Hollywood stars take note, it might be wise to schedule some singing lessons. The New Kids. Emma Stone will probably be the awards season sweetheart of 2017, which means someone might finally get the bright idea to put her and Jennifer Lawrence together in a raunchy buddy comedy this year. Now, that pipe dream aside, there will be plenty of major breakouts in the months to come. Daniel Kaluuya, for example, is bound for the big time once his twisty thriller Get Out drops and details start to emerge regarding his part in Marvel's Black Panther. Count on him to capitalize on rising interest in his talent. Alden Ehrenreich, likewise, is a name that might reach household status this year thanks to his forthcoming turn as Han Solo in the Star Wars spin-off. Ehrenreich has an impressive filmography under his belt already, with some small but memorable roles, but headlining as Han is a career maker. Meanwhile, actress Sofia Boutella is also poised to have a major moment this year after her work in the reboot of The Mummy and The Coldest City arrives in theaters. The latter project in particular seems promising, as it's a Cold War spy thriller that gives her a chance to steal scenes from some of the industry's elite, just like she did in Star Trek Beyond.
Pardon me.
He likes that scene.
R.I.P. Whitewashing. Unfortunately, this year will bring us multiple films which will again highlight the need for studios to stop whitewashing movie casts, including The Great Wall and Ghost in the Shell, both of which have already attracted their share of controversy. Marvel's Doctor Strange somehow managed to survive its own issues on that front, at least where the box office was concerned, but with these new pictures in particular, any enthusiasm seems likely to be dampened by casting backlash. Perhaps the conversations that result, whether the films are ultimately successful or not, will finally put an end to Hollywood's unfortunate whitewashing tradition once and for all. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.